Have you ever struggled with starting perennial seeds and couldn't get them to germinate? I know that milkweed has been one for me that I have struggled with for years. That was until I learned that I could take cheap milk jugs and turn them into mini greenhouses. So today I'm going to show you how you guys can use milk jugs to start your perennial seeds and get them to germinate every time. I remember the first time I planted milkweed seeds in our garden and they did not grow. And it was so disappointing for me because I had planted transplants in the garden the year before and they were great, it was perfect. And everyone told me, oh, in the fall, just scatter the milkweed seeds in your garden and it will be fine, they will sprout next year, you'll be great. Yeah, no, that did not happen. And then I tried the next year, and that year I used bought seeds, and they still didn't sprout, they still didn't germinate. So I was really, really disappointed. And I had almost given up until I saw a post on Facebook about another gardener who was using milk jugs to start her perennial seeds. And it got me thinking, milkweed is a perennial. Could I get it to start in a milk jug? So I tried it out and it worked and I was so excited. So I'm going to show you guys how you can do the same thing. Before we jump into the how to create these, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why this works. So perennial seeds, most of them for that matter, need a cold stratification before they germinate. And nature does this by having a winter. So a winter gives the seeds that cold stratification that it needs to then germinate and grow into a plant. But conditions might not always be ideal. And what if a critter comes along and eats the seeds? Or what if you have a really dry winter and that seed dries out? So there are so many other factors that come into play when you just put your seeds in the garden and expect nature to take its course. So as the gardener, we can kind of control this a little bit, and that is where the milk jug comes in. So the milk jug, we're going to put soil in the bottom, so it's going to provide a soil. Then we are going to take the top off of it so moisture can always get in and critters can't get into it. So your seeds have a very high rate of success of getting the cold stratification that they need and sprouting and germinating. So if you can, I highly recommend using milk jugs as mini greenhouses for seed starting, especially those perennials that need a cold stratification. One more quick note. This works really well in zones 4 through 8. So if you're a gardener in zone 4 through 8, you're going to be set. This is going to work really well for you. To build these milk jug greenhouses, you want to rinse out your milk jugs and discard the top. You're not going to need that. Then I'm going to take a drill and I'm going to drill some holes in the bottom for drainage. Don't have to drill a lot, just a few. All of the holes in the bottom are drilled. Now we're going to work on cutting them open. So I'm going to cut right below the handle, and I'm not going to cut all the way off. I'm going to leave it attached just a little bit so it kind of makes a mouth thing. I'll show you in a second. I'm just using a box knife to do this. It does not have to be pretty. Just has to be cut in half. Just like that, you want to be able to open it. As you can see, mine was not a very pretty cut, but that's okay. So I'm going to do the rest of these. Right, I did find that if you punch the initial hole with the box knife and then use the scissors, it's a little easier. So that's what we're gonna do. All cut. Now I'm going to fill them with some potting soil. It is freezing outside, which is why I am doing this inside, and which means our topsoil pile and our compost pile are completely frozen. So I am using this Pro Mix potting soil. We got this at Walmart. Never used this brand before, but I've heard really good things about it. So we're gonna use this. I'm gonna put about 1 inch to 2 inches in the bottom of each of these milk jugs. Then I'm gonna put 10 milkweed seeds in them, and then I'll show you what I'm gonna do after that. I am gonna do one at a time though, because I don't want it to, as you can see, it doesn't stay upright, so I don't want it to fall over and spill everywhere. So potting soil, milkweed seeds, and then I'll show you what's next. Our shovels and stuff are also outside, and I don't feel like going out to get them, so I'm using an old measuring cup today. This stuff is compacted in this bag, so it's going to take a little bit of work to get it uncompacted, but it looks really good, so that's a plus. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of water to this just to moisten it. And then I'm gonna take my milkweed seeds and I'm gonna put about 10 seeds in on top of this. Now milkweed seeds need light in order to germinate. So I'm not gonna push these in, I'm gonna just sprinkle them on top. Got them all put in. Now I'm going, all of my milkweed seeds are in there. I have them lightly pushed down. Now I'm gonna tape this up. I'm gonna use some duct tape and tape this milk jug back together. Alright, that one is done. Gonna work on the rest of them, and then we will take them outside. the mini Milk Jug greenhouses done. I'm going to take them outside and put them in a sunny spot. Like I mentioned before, we're going to leave the lids off of them so that when it rains, the rain makes it inside and keeps the soil inside moist. We will check on these come spring and see if they have germinated. Now that we have our Milk Jug greenhouses created and they are all set outside, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about why we plant milkweed. So we plant milkweed because it is a native plant for our area, and it is the sole host plant for the monarch butterfly. We raise monarch butterflies. It is something I started a couple years ago. It is very near and dear to our hearts and something that we love doing. Now we do this because the monarch population is declining, and it is declining because milkweed is declining. The more we build, the more the farms sell to developers and get turned into large home sites. The milkweed is declining, and the monarch butterfly can only survive on milkweed. So we plant milkweed so that we can encourage more monarch butterflies to come to our yard. We can raise them, we can release them in the fall, and then they have a higher chance of living and laying more eggs and the cycle continuing. So monarch butterflies and raising them is something near and dear to our hearts, like I said, and milkweed is just part of that process. If you want to know more about milkweed and its benefits and how it helps the monarch butterfly, check out our website. I have linked that below for you. And if you want to know more about monarch butterflies and how we raise them, I'm going to put a video right here for you guys. Make sure that you check it out. Thanks so much for visiting the farmhouse today, and I'll talk to you guys soon.